And FS1. It is good to have you in today. All sorts of things happening. J.J. Watt yesterday, middle of our show, decided to move his act and his talent to Arizona. And Joy Taylor and I were in the whoa stage and the wow stage and didn't see that coming stage. We're so often surprised by where stars go. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. It's been a really wild NFL offseason so far. And it actually hasn't really even officially started.
It's amazing how many stars. The transaction business in the NFL, Stafford, J.J. Watt, Carson. I want to talk about this. So there was a story out there yesterday. It was down to Buffalo and Arizona. Two different cultures, cities, fan bases. And apparently somebody in Buffalo, a reporter, had talked to a former Texans coach, and they criticized J.J. Watt. They said, quote, he's selfish, only cared about his stats. He does a lot of things that hurt the defense. I wouldn't want him. He hurt us sometimes more than he helped us. So what you're saying is he's a little rogue. That's been the knock on Ndamukong Suh for years. He's a little bit of a, doing his own thing, a little bit of a freelancer. For the record, I've heard a little bit of that with J.J. Watt, a little bit. Now, this morning, it's interesting. If I lined up, and this goes along the lines of what, the big sports betting companies think, if I looked at the NFC West this morning, I would take the Rams to win the division. They won 10 games last year with Jared Goff. I think Matt Stafford's worth a win. I'd have the Rams winning the NFC West at 11-5. I would have San Francisco, if Jimmy Garoppolo is healthy, if he's healthy, battling them for second place. I'm selling some of my stock on Seattle, but they have Russell Wilson, so I'd pick them third, and Arizona fourth. Not a shot, but it's the best division in football. So J.J. Watt did not choose the best team in his own division. He didn't choose the best roster in his own division. He didn't choose the best Super Bowl odds in his own division. He picked probably the fourth best coach in a division. Some would argue the fourth best quarterback in his division. He didn't choose an area that was closer to home. Arizona was fourth in sacks last year. He didn't choose a place where he'd have the greatest impact. It may just be this easy. J.J. Watt chose the place that was best for him and his wife, Kalia. And that's it. She's a pro athlete. He's a pro athlete. They don't have to have a second home with warm weather. They can go train in the off season. It's just a good place to play some golf, drink some margaritas in the off season, and he and his wife can train together outdoors in their beautiful house. Matt Stafford, by the way, was on the market. Many suitors. He chose the Rams, which is the toughest division in football. Why, we found out? He liked Los Angeles. He had a home here. He liked the weather. Off seasons are easier. He's kind of worn out from Michigan winters. I mean, he grew up in Texas, played at Georgia. He was tired of the winters. Think about where the stars choose. KD chose Brooklyn. Huh? Kawhi chose the Clippers. Tom Brady chose the Buccaneers. As you age, things that were less important become really important. Think about the final two choices for J.J. Watt. On one shoulder, there's a little Buffalo Bill. Hey, we are a player away from the Super Bowl. You are going to win the division. And on the other side was a little devil, and he was wearing Arizona colors, and he's like, it's Buffalo. You're going to have a second home. Does your wife really want to live in Buffalo? They jump on tables. And it's kind of crazy. Arizona's more laid back. You can golf in the off season. You can golf in the season. Think about the two places that were the final places. He probably felt guilty a little bit for choosing Arizona, so he includes Buffalo because that was, as Joy and I talked about, that's the place where he can literally, they're going to win their division next year. They feel like they're a pass rush away from the Super Bowl. Tennessee doesn't. Green Bay doesn't necessarily. They already had a pretty good pass rush. So the final two places came down to one place where it made total football sense, and they finished second to the place that didn't make really any football sense. And that's okay. We tend to, in the media, try to figure out what the best place for the athlete is He fits the scheme, the division, and LeBron James chose Miami. They weren't good when he got there, and the Lakers. They were terrible when he got there. But both cities, for a kid that grew up in Akron, a lot of sex appeal, a lot of fun. You can get free agents to come and play there. We're always trying to figure out where players are going to go. We're almost always wrong. In my gut feeling this morning, and I've moved 4 different times to different places. I think, Joy, you've moved 3 or 4 different times. It's never, you get that yellow notepad out, and I guarantee you J.J. Watt did with his wife, Kalia, and they wrote down stuff, and we'd be wrong in all the guesses. And I'm here to tell you, I bet some of it was this. Cliff Kingsbury has a reputation. He doesn't grind players at practice. He's very Sean McVay. J.J. Watt's a Hall of Famer. Does he want to grind at practice? J.J. Watt shows up on Sunday and kicks your arse. He doesn't need to grind at practice. He don't want to get hurt at practice. You may have put that one down. Where do my wife and I in the off season, you live in a cold place, you got to have a second home. In Arizona, you don't. So all those little things you write down on a list as we age, when I was 20, professional success was everything. I'm 50. I'm more into my kid's success. Like, pro athletes are the same. KD to Brooklyn, Kawhi to the Clippers, Brady to the Buccaneers, J.J. Watt to Arizona. It may have just been as simple as, I'm married now, the off seasons matter now, money's good enough, and winning, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, I still make the Hall of Fame. And that's okay, too. All right, so I saw this story. Jane Slater is a